Going on, fish bowlers? This here is going to be a series of videos that are just exploring the world through fish bowls, or 360-degree panoramas, kind that you would find on Google Earth or Google Maps, Street View. But the thing about Street View is Street View is kind of boring if you're just doing Street View, because what do you see on Street View? Streets. Street View is basically a data collection exercise. It's a car or a private vehicle, somebody walking around with a 360-degree camera or rig of different cameras. But what they're doing is collecting data. They're really just trying to get a view of what is around, which is nice. And it definitely shows you things that you'll never see otherwise. But it's kind of boring. So like here, if we drop in, what do we got? We got palm trees and a street. Street and palm trees, not bad. And if you haven't seen a lot of palm trees in your life, you might be interested in this. Take a look at the scooters. It's great. But Street View, you go a little bit farther, it's still a street. Kind of boring. The thing about this is that there's no intentionality. The Street View car is just driving down the road, capturing whatever it sees. It's capturing everything all around it at all times. There's no intention or art, I don't want to say artistry behind it, but a lot of the fish bowls that you're going to see are artistic, or at least somebody stood in this area. It's they're expressions of the human desire to share beautiful things. And I think that is a good thing to look at. So if you notice, street views are going to be all along these streets here, right? And pretty much all over the world. There's a few notable exceptions. But what I'm interested in are these 360-degree panoramas. That somebody stood in this spot, took out their phone and looked around and said, I want to share this with people. And they assembled themselves a 360-degree panorama. There was intention. They stitched all of these pictures together. And they said, this area that I'm looking at right now, somebody else needs to see this. I love it. That's why I like these fish bowls. So if you can see here, Jimmy Choo was in this area for whatever reason. Jimmy Choo was in this area, probably hanging out with his buddies, camping in his nice overlanding rig. That's pretty awesome. But he stood here and said, you know what? This is beautiful. I want to share this experience with the world. I'm not just a Street View car. I'm not just data collecting to catalog the world. I'm in this spot right now, and this moment is special. This area is special. I want to show it off. So what'd he do? He pulls out his phone. He starts stitching. Walking in a circle. Looking around. Showing off all these palm trees. Now, if we were just following the street, we'd never see something like this. These are out in the middle of nowhere, like Jimmy Choo is quite a bit far away from the street, somewhere in Malaysia. Up in this coconut grove, which I assume it's for palm oil or coconuts or whatever. Maybe even date palms, who knows? So anyway, Jimmy Choo thought that this was interesting enough to share. And that's what I'd like to explore with this series. Find all the interesting little places in the world where somebody took out a phone and said, this is important enough to share with everyone. So let's see what else we can find. Now, I do have a couple of tools for this that I will introduce you to later, which are quite interesting. You'll be able to play with them on your own. But for now, we're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. Just kind of play Russian roulette with the, well, maybe not Russian roulette, hopefully. Just play roulette with the world. And we'll just find something to look at. And here I'm just looking for these circles, and I'm finding anything that catches my eye or just kind of give that feel. Like Hullerstein. Stein is stone in German. Huller, I have no idea, but this means a interesting stone, maybe. What do we got? David Gunther has said, hey man, this stone, it's pretty cool. That's a little cave. That's awesome. So let's find out a little bit more about Hollerstein. That's pretty cool. Now, if you're a geologist in the comments, tell us what we're looking at here. It's this limestone that intruded in here, or eroded away, left a pillar. Is this volcanic? Are these modern graffiti or old pictographs? It's a real pretty area. Let's see what else we got. Sunny. Sunny wanted to show us the sunflowers. Good on you, Sunny. What else did you want to show us? Wallenfels in winter. Looks like Sunny has been to Germany and Scandinavia. So, if you've ever done a Wikipedia rabbit hole, you can do the same thing here. So you pick an interesting panorama, find out who did it, look at their photos, see where else they've been. Sometimes, find something interesting. So if we look at Sunny here, Sunny has been also to this campground, or whatever this is. Looks like on a bike, which is awesome. Nice little bike path out in the middle of nowhere. So let's take a look at this area. This is somewhere in Germany. Almost smack dab in the middle, south of Germany. Just near Kronach. Kronach. I'm going to murder these pronunciations. I'll do my best, but I'm sure people will have something to say about it. So one of the fun things about the rabbit hole is you can look around and see if there's anybody else that has anything interesting in that area, and then try to look at their profile and see where they've been. You can do a little like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon with explorers of the world. Now I don't see any other ones just directly around. We're going to expand out a little bit, and there we go. There's one. Marco Meissner nearby. Got some little garden tchotchkes, a disembodied arm. Now I'm sure you can understand why this happens. This is when you're taking a bunch of individual photos. You're taking, it's like a panorama error. You have 2 photos and you're stitching them together, which is putting them together and then like blending out the area that comes in between them. But when you do that, if there's anything that changes between the 2, like a person walking or a dog or whatever, they'll be in one or more of those photos, and the stitching software will kind of cut them out wherever it needs to stitch everything together, but parts of them will be left over. Now, that can be quite humorous. In this case, we just have an arm hanging out in the middle of our garden. But you'll see a lot of those on these because, you know, people are just trying to show off something cool. They haven't controlled the area there or whatever, but, you know, you're living in the moment. You just want to show off this cool cherry tree in this little garden that somebody's made that you found while you're in your travels. Nice little alpine house here. Sweet little garden, some clover, some disembodied feet. I'd definitely hang out in this garden. Man, is that an ornamental plum? Love those. So let's find out what Marco Meissner's, where else he's been. Looks like that's the only thing from Marco. It's got 15,000 views on this one thing. Interesting. Where is he at? Seems like just a house. It's not even a hotel. A lot of times you'll see like a, you know, Airbnb or a hotel or whatever. So depending on what you enjoy when you travel, if you are a natural traveler, if you like to go out to the national parks, you like to go up to, you know, hiking in the mountains, or you like to go to an interesting city and try cocktails or food or any of the interesting things there, you're going to find different things all over the place. You can find in Munich your super urban, interesting, like a cathedral. That's amazing. So you'll be able to find things like this. You know, somebody, in this case, Richard Mendelson, said, I want to show this off. This looks really cool. I enjoy this moment, and I want to share it with people. Look at these flowers. That's real cool. You can see here he missed the focus on basically the best portion of that cathedral, the main entrance, which that sucks, but I get it. I've been there, but that sucks. Anyway, this is a beautiful shot. Beautiful area. And you can kind of get the feeling. You know, it's mid-afternoon. Sun's just about to go down. You're hanging out with your buddies, walking around, exploring this beautiful area. Looking at this cool cathedral. Just this ornate, pointy thing. Hilton, Sao Paulo, huh? So we've got Munich, Sao Paulo. It's Brazil. A level 8, huh? It's a Brazilian local guide. 4,000 contributions. This guy has definitely been all over the place. Let's come back to him someday. But the other thing is, you also have natural travel. You got your natural areas that people like to get out in the middle of nowhere, take their cameras out and go, holy crap, look at the top of this mountain. So in that vein, let's find something like that. So if you're up here in this beautiful Alpine Valley, after a strenuous hike all the way up, you pull out your phone, show off to the rest of the world your accomplishment, getting to the top of the Bürgerspitze. Kilian Kellner definitely made it to the top of this one, or at least close enough. Man. I would definitely want to share if I made it to the top of that. That's beautiful. Very stark, but when you get above the tree line in the Alps or any large mountain like this, you're definitely going to be a little bald up there. Fritz Mittendorfer. Oh, wow. Yep. Well, there we go. That's beautiful. Man, look at that valley. The valley floor, just beautiful, grassy, little stream coming through. Taking all the snow melt down to the ocean. Now you can see here definitely the tree line. All right, we're gonna John Madden this. So you see, you got your valley down here where the nice grassy area and your little stream that comes through, right? Then you got your forested areas, your forested reaches that kind of come up the mountain. Then right along in here, you see, we got the altitude at which trees, it might be too cold because of the altitude. It might be a lot of oxygen. Maybe it's a little too rocky. For whatever reason, there's a point at which the trees no longer grow on the sides of these mountains, and this is mostly due to altitude. But there's a complicated web of factors. Could be, well, you got your tree lines, you got your alpine peaks, your pizzas, like Pitzbalu. Yeah, you can definitely see the very visible tree line here. That's real cool. Man, Fritz, it's a beautiful area. Got some snowpack. Doesn't look like a glacier. Just looks like maybe a very small glacier. Glacier being compacted snow that eventually builds up into a large sheet of ice that persists throughout the seasons and melts slowly. So, you know, you get a lot of the Alps. You've seen that on movies and TV and that sort of thing. But some of the fun things are like when you go out in the middle of nowhere, like, well, at least the middle of nowhere for us, being Westerners, me at least. Now, I don't know where you guys are from. And we're probably going to get a lot of people that are from these areas that I cover. And you're going to go, what? This guy doesn't know anything. That's true. That's why I'm exploring. So I'd like to hear from you guys. Please let me know. I will probably be wrong about most things, but that's how we learn. So I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. This channel is not going to be about politics. Now, I know that geography and the history of ethnic tensions being what it is, there's going to be a lot of different views on a lot of different things, and I'm going to try to avoid that as much as possible. I'm not going to come from this from a political standpoint. I'm going to come from this from a geographical standpoint. I'm interested in the cultures, the geography, the natural stuff, the built-up environment, the architecture, and all that sort of thing. I'm not going to comment on whether or not this person is right, this person's right, these people are right. I don't know. It's not for this. That said, we're going to, of course, wander into territory where that is going to be unavoidable. So, Russia, Ukraine, Palestine, Israel, Pakistan and India, disputed borders all over the world are going to be problematic. Belligerents in wars are problematic. Cultures are problematic. The entire, However, what I'd like to do is enjoy these areas for what they are. Now, so you look at, like, the Balkans have all sorts of different issues, but what matters to me is the day-to-day life. People are just trying to get by. And the thing that I find in my travels the most is people everywhere are just trying to live their life. And really, life is about the same everywhere. There's trees, there's rock, there's mountains, there's fields, there's sunshine, there's water. Everything else is cultural. Mickey laps, huh? Wow, this is a great shot. It's great timing to be there at fall when all the colors are changing. It's a great subject. This beautiful area with the terraced fields. You get your little tiny town up there in the mountains. Some sort of reservoir or lake out here. Maybe part of the ocean. This is a beautiful image. This is the kind of thing that I explore for. I don't know what's going on in Bosnia, which is where we are here. I remember what happened in the 90s, and I'm not sure what's happening there now. But if you know, you know. I'm not going to get into it. Oh, we got a motorcycle. We got motocross fashion. Is it mountain bikes or motorbikes? Oh, look at that. We got ourselves a motorbike. Miro Ostoja is showing us his view after motorbiking all the way up here. After driving his bike all the way up here, standing on this table, checking out this view. Let's figure out what he's looking at. He's looking down here onto the Rama Lake near Ripchi. Oh, wow, that is a lake that goes up and down a lot. So that lake changes its elevation quite a bit. You can tell by the bathtub ring that's all around the outside there. As the water goes up, it kills off a lot of any of the vegetation that's in there, kind of drowns it out. And then as the water recedes throughout the year, depending on the water needs of the local communities and the snowpack and whatever else, the lake level will go up and down over the year. Over time, they can drop because of climate change or whatever, but the bathtub rings are oftentimes only seasonal. They will go up and down. So we can tell this one is probably at the end. The way it works around in my neck of the woods is that we fill it up all winter with snowpack, and in the spring the snowpack melts and the lake levels rise and rise and rise until about midsummer when we start needing all the water and we don't have any rains. So the lake starts steadily dropping, and it gets this huge bathtub ring, and it exposes new areas. And then sometime around December, somewhere around there, the winter rains come in and it starts filling back up again. So a lot of times people look at it and go like, "Oh wow, the lake's really down. We're in a huge drought." And it's like, well, that actually happens every year. It's normal for the reservoir to go up and down, but droughts do happen, and it's kind of the difference between weather and climate. Drought is a thing that happens over 20 years, not 1 or 2. This area is really neat. Everything is dead right now, so I'm gonna guess winter time. Yeah, no time on this image. So I bet if we found another one of these fish bowls over this lake, we would see differences. So there we go. It's almost, well, it's definitely not full up again, but it's definitely a little bit higher than it was. Actually, you know what? This might even be lower than it was. So this is a little bit lower than it was on that previous one. You can see a lot of new area that's been exposed, but all this area in here is going to be recovered by water when the water level goes back up. Let's see if we can get another one. Florian Schwarze. Now, see, this is that same area here has got water back up inside of it. So the water level here is a little bit higher than that last one that we just saw. So anyway, you'll see these things go up and down over the years, throughout the year. Now, this beautiful area in the middle of Bosnia and Herzegovina is just absolutely stunning. I really like this area. Let's see what Camping Bosniak has for interesting stuff. So, Camping Bosniak. There we go. There's a picture of the lake at full pool. That's what they call it when it's full. That is absolutely stunning. These bathrooms are pretty good for a campground. Another full pool. So 10 months ago. Some of these were 6 years ago, I think, was the one where it was empty, and now you can see that it's full again. During the winter time. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, is it a Kamaz? Damn, that's beautiful. The Nanut, or Hammets? Oh, Mammoth. MAMMOTH. M-A-M-M-U-T. MAMMOTH. That's absolutely awesome. Alright, Van Goals right there. Van Goals. Look at that. Yes, please. That's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I would love to go to a place like that. That's the thing about the fish bowls. You start to find out pretty quick that the world is really awesome. And even if you're stuck inside, if you're stuck in a little box, you know, and you're... No matter where you are, you can explore the world, at least through these fish bowls. You know, that's the thing about exploring like this is no matter where you are, you can see a lot of the world. Thanks to the people who have pulled out their phones and said, I want to share this. So you know what? Wherever you are, I encourage you to go out and make a photosphere. Show off your local area. Show off something interesting. Show off your favorite hiking trail. Show off, you know, the cathedral in your main town. Go inside, you know, whatever. But don't leave it to just the Street View car. Don't leave it to just the data collectors. Find something that you think is worth sharing and show it off. Anyway, so we'll leave it there for our first exploration, and I hope you'll join me next time. We will, I don't know, if we get any comments on this one, we might take some of the, take a suggestion, and if not, find something else to go look at. Well, thanks for coming along, fish bowlers. I'll see you around.